Mayor and council, big day today. Yes, we're excited. We're excited for you. You had a good summer? Yes. All right. Well, I wanna say good morning. I wanna welcome you all to today's council meeting. It's great to see all the projects that you will be presenting to us today. And I want to thank you, those in the audience and department staff that came to support and kind of see the culmination of a very hard working group and an amazing summer. So thank you for being here today. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started, Mayor. Thank you. Carry on.
I am calling this meeting to order. Valdez, can you please take roll call?
We will now take roll. Rodriguez,
Present.
Garcia,
Present.
Esquivel,
Present.
Zuniga,
Present.
Perez,
Present.
Boyd,
Present.
Avalos.
Present.
We have quorum.
We are now directing the Pledge of Allegiance. I direct Swindle, Esquivel,
I will stand respectfully, but not announce the pledge.
Let's all stand for the pledge.
Okay, may we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Offer your agenda.
Now we may begin with assessment of parks.
Hello and good morning, Mayor and City Council. Our initiative is Assessment of Parks. My name is Veronica Roda Sotero.
Enrique Reyes. Andre Swindle.
I'm Deja Emick, and Mitzel Dodge sadly couldn't join us today.
And I'm Eva Alanis.
For our recommended action, we'd like to prioritize safety, such as fixing old, broken, or rusty materials that look unreliable. It would also be beneficial if we could get maintenance on our parks, such as fixing chipped paint or old structures, as well as keeping our restrooms hygienic. Fixing all of these priorities and issues can help keep our citizens safe and prevent any possible legal issues in the future.
Background. Improving the quality of parks and recreational programs benefits our entire community. Doing so improves recreational experiences for our residents, fosters human development for our people, promoting health and wellness from our youth to senior community, and increase cultural awareness, doing so protecting natural resources. Alongside all this, it will improve safety and security.
What we are focusing on is improving our parks by delivering quality parks and recreation, making them more enjoyable for the people. By improving the community's well-being, we'll be able to offer more programs and making the quality better for the residents that live nearby. And to improve parks, we will need to protect our natural resources that we already have, and to strengthen our safety and security to protect our children is our overall mission to improve our parks.
Based off of the strategic plan from the city of Watsonville, we will mainly be focusing on economic development, community engagement, and well-being, as well as public safety. For starters, when looking at public safety, parks are supposed to be safe and clean areas where people can mainly hang out at. This increases the community engagement and well-being because it encourages people of all ages to go out and exercise and play in these safe areas that are away from commercial zones. This also helps with economic development because most of the people that go to these areas often go on bikes or by foot, which means they pass by stores or restaurants, which encourages them to buy and spend their money. Parks also increase property value. They also increase tax revenues, decrease medical costs by having people exercise, and increase the likelihood of businesses or landowners buying or getting areas near parks, as it is a more wanted area because of the environment.
By making a few changes, we can achieve our recommended actions. Some of these actions can be safety, personal health, the earth, and the uniqueness of the 26 parks here in Watsonville. Our estimation per park is $20,000. The total cost would be $520,000 for all parks. Watsonville will receive a grant of $5 million per year. We would like half of that, so $2.5 million per year, so we're able to finish this project within 12 years. Overall, new paint makes people feel more comfortable and it looks nicer. It allows people and kids to use their senses and explore color. Depending on the size of the park will determine how much paint and how much it is. You can't clean away worn wood, rusting metal, or peeling paint, so this is very necessary and important that this gets taken care of. Children fall and hurt themselves when the ground and playground is broken. Repairs and maintenance increase the lifespan of the playground. The presence of litter and vandalism makes the park seem unappealing and has minimal supervision. Trash bins, recycling bins, and food waste bins keep the playground neat and tidy. Having pictures on each bin teaches kids how to discard their waste properly. Also, having a water fountain would reduce the amount of plastic water bottles being used.
If prioritizing safety is unavailable at this time, enhancing aesthetics in our parks is a great alternate. This will contribute to a more enjoyable environment for community. Although, failing to adjust parks to the ADA and the consultant's standards can be potentially dangerous and possibly a liability. In order to support the aesthetic enhancements, we should add art installations and landscaping. This will encourage people to spend more time outdoors. Adding more aesthetic elements can create a better park experience. So the cost will have to differ between the size of the park and what needs to be done. So for landscaping, it can vary in cost and it can be about $10,000 to $50,000. This would be like planting trees, shrubs, flowers, all stuff to enhance the visual appeal. And then adding art installations, we would commission local artists to create unique pieces for the parks. This cost depends on the scale and complexity of the piece and can be tens of thousands of dollars.
And these are our references, just in case you guys want to double check our information. And do you guys have any questions for us?
Mayor, I'm going to change the format of the meeting a little bit. We do have some very special guests in our crowd here today. And I think it's really important that we hear everybody's presentation. So If you don't mind, let's go ahead and just give this group a round of applause, everybody, please. Thank you. Maybe we'll hold questions, input, and all that stuff till the 4:30 session, but I think I want to honor people's times that are here. So thank you, team, and then we'll have the next team come up. So the next team that's up is the drone program.
Alrighty, I'm calling this meeting to order. Today's agenda is drones in the city. Go ahead and start.
Good morning, Mayor and fellow City Council members. We are here on behalf of the Wattsville Police Department to propose the implementation of a drone program in our city. Our team consists of myself, Sebastian Perez, Eileen Garcia, Crystal Quiroz, Iker Ponce, and Evelyn Hidalgo.
As we previously stated, we would like to ask your approval to implement this drone program. We believe that this program would bring safety and security to the city of Watsonville.
The benefits to having a drone program in our city are far more extent than just use in law enforcement, whether it be repairing cell towers for the IT department, running airport security, both which are money savers, or running search and rescue missions for the fire department. Or in a more serious situation, such as an active shooter, a drone can be deployed first to determine whether it's safe or not to send in officers. Although we are completely aware that there may be public concerns regarding privacy, we would like to reassure the council members that through a complaint center, guidelines and policies readily available to the public, and even a flight log informing the public of where and when drones are deployed, that transparency can be maintained with our public.
We have upcoming technology that will enhance the safety and provide security for our community, and the drones can be used throughout all departments in the city of Watsonville. We will have a detailed police report to protect the rights of our citizens, and policies can be implemented so police can be upheld and transparency can be maintained. The following attachments are ways other city governments have maintained transparency with the public through guidelines and regulations to keep the city accountable, to keep the city departments accountable.
A drone program ties into strategic planning into three major ways. It can tie into public safety through law enforcement and can be used for photography and recording for community engagement, or it can repair cell towers, which ties into infrastructure environment.
I know what you guys are thinking. Where is all this money coming from? Although the cost of drones may be costly, no price can be put on public safety. Furthermore, we believe the expenses that come with drones seen on the presentation can be covered without the help of taxpayer dollars.
And here's what the chief of police had to say. he had to say drones are cool. Is there any questions?
Council, any questions? All right.
Let's hear it for this group. Again, we're going to skip questions. Awesome job, guys. All right, can I get the enforcement of smoking laws group to kind of get prepared and come up?
No, I erased it.
All right, I'm calling this meeting to order. Our next agenda is enforcement of smoking laws. You guys can go ahead and start.
Good morning, Mayor, City Council, fellow colleagues, family, and peers. Today we're here on behalf of the Public Works Department to propose an implementation that will concern sections of the stormwater pollution prevention and the new trash provision, specifically addressing areas of high cigarette butt waste. So I would like to start by introducing myself. So hello all, my name is Abigail Boyd.
And my name is Jessica Avalos Realado.
My name is Jessica Valdez Fernandez.
My name is Jared Esquivel Duque.
My name is Mateo Lopez.
I am Hilda Gazanfari. Whether you're walking downtown Wansonville, Santa Cruz, or anywhere in general, you're bound to see cigarette butt waste. But is it harmful? Should you care? Should we care? Cigarette litter is toxic not only to us, but also to the environment. For example, they contaminate our water and animals mistake them for food. Did you know that in the U.S., the most littered single-use plastic are cigarette butts? 9.7 billion cigarette filters in exact. The second most littered single-use plastic is plastic film at 2.8 billion. The amount difference between the two is a 6.9 billion difference. Let me say that again. There is a 6.9 billion amount difference between the two. That is not close at all. That is a huge gap. And if it keeps on going, the difference will only keep on growing. If you put the 9.7 billion cigarette filters end to end, it would wrap the earth not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 5. Now get this, in 2021, local cleanup leaders in Watsonville collected more than 500 cigarettes in downtown Watsonville. Those 500 cigarettes were picked from just 6 of our small city streets, not even considering the whole city limits of Watsonville. This was just in 6 small streets downtown. This is why my group is suggesting a recommended action to decrease this amount as soon as possible. We noticed that by just adding signs to areas where smoking was not allowed was insufficient. We recommend installing cigarette receptacles in a high cigarette butt waste area. We want to start with just 6 cigarette receptacles, but plan to increase that amount. Pick, dispose, and repeat. By doing this, the amount of butt waste we see in our streets should decrease significantly. The cost of 6 cigarette receptacles with the company TerraCycle will cost us about $650, and to help fund this, we recommend the help of solid waste and stormwater. By doing this, we will see a trustworthy and productive change in our streets in Watsonville.
In 2019, Watsonville earned a B grade for the 2nd year in a row for reducing and preventing tobacco use among children. However, this does not mean that Watsonville can't improve its efforts to cut down on cigarette use in public areas. It is already mandatory for all restaurants, stores, establishments, and plazas to not allow smoking on their premises. Although this is mandatory, people are still smoking and leaving cigarette butts all over the floor. A previous school called El Nido, located on the Cabrillo campus here at Watsonville, had already done a year-long tobacco waste cleanup project. During one of their cleanups at the plaza, they collected over 1,000 cigarette butts in just 10 minutes. They collected over 16 pounds of trash, and the majority of that trash was cigarette butts. They use small tin cans to encourage people to store their cigarette butts there so they can dispose of them properly. Although they encouraged the packing your trash method, the community was still struggling with high amounts of cigarette butt waste on the streets, possibly due to the tins not being accessible to the public in bulk. Debunking a common misnomer, cigarettes are not biodegradable. As they end up being thrown in streets, parks, and sidewalks, they end up in storm drains that lead directly to our sloughs, which harms wildlife. They pollute the water through the release of toxic chemicals, heavy metals, like lead and arsenic, and residual nicotine can pollute the water. Each cigarette butt has the capacity to pollute a liter of water, creating a toxic environment for all marine life that inhabits that space.
Initially, our goal to address this initiative was to reinforce the city's currently existing smoking laws to assist areas with high cigarette butt waste. Yet through looking into Watsonville's established Smoking Control Ordinance, Chapter 37, as a team, we have come to the consensus that it is time for the city to take new action and actively make a new change to address this tobacco crisis. If as established through Chapter 537 in the city charter, smoking is a physical hazard to the environment and the general public, and the goal of Watsonville as a city is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare by prohibiting smoking in public places. So then why do we normalize the finding of cigarette butts as a part of our daily lives? It is clear we do not have the bandwidth to reinforce the prohibition of smoking or have the willpower to convert smokers to stop. So we must become creative in the way we address this issue, which is why our group is proposing a system similar to that of recycling centers. Our initial idea was to implement a cigarette butt recycling system, which would reward those who turn cigarette butts with a 3-cent refundable value. We plan to take these steps after establishing designated areas for cigarette receptacle posts. As of right now, we're working with companies like TerraCycle, where we would be able to recycle and separate waste that cannot be done here locally. The system would not only contribute to the pollution aspect of this issue, but also work on making the already existing cigarette butt posts more environmentally sustainable.
Strategic plan. 1. Facial health. By keeping cigarette butts off the street, we will be able to reduce the amount of pollution that ends up in the slough. 2. Infrastructure and environment. This is a more sustainable alternative to the normal cigarette post, so instead of the waste ending up in the landfill, it will be further recycled and repurposed. 3. Community engagement and well-being. Creating cigarette recycling centers stimulates new job opportunities and community involvement, giving everyone the option to earn a CRV for turning in litter found on the street. 4. Public safety. The increased pricing will keep tobacco smokers more mindful of their waste and purchases.
Our suggested alternative action involves educating the youth, grades K through 5, about the physical and ecological harms through implementing at least one unit interwoven in integrative science focused on cigarette harm, paired with trips to the Harkin Slough and city cleanups to help mitigate cigarette butt waste. These proposed actions have yielded positive results in the past. As previously mentioned, the school, El Nido, had various cleanups where the younger demographic had a fantastic time cleaning up our city plaza and collected around 1,000 cigarette butts. There are multiple advantages to this proposed action. 1, cleaning up our streets. 2, maintaining the health of the slough. And 3, keeping local wildlife free of pollutant food sources.
On the discussion of a financial impact, we're proposing an initiative to install cigarette receptacles around Watsonville Plaza. The cost of this initiative is around $650 for our current plan, and with it, we'll be able to buy 6 TerraCycle receptacles. We plan to fund this initiative using our solid waste and storm water budgets, since cigarette waste often ends up in storm drains and is classified as solid waste. With a budget of $12,000 for solid waste and $25,000 for stormwater, we have the necessary funding to support our initiative. In the future, we hope to offer a CRV of 3 cents per cigarette, but this means that if you recycle 50 cigarettes, you'll receive $1.50 in cash. Additionally, we hope to add 60 cents to the cost of any tobacco product, which will discourage buyers from purchasing and encourage them to recycle their cigarette butts to earn some of their money back. We hope that this initiative will not only keep Watsonville Plaza clean, but also encourage smokers to be more mindful of their cigarette waste. Together, we can make a positive impact on the community and the environment. At the end, thank you for your attention.
Alrighty, thank you guys. That was awesome. May we please have small cell sites up next? I now call this meeting to order. Our next agenda is small cell sites. Go ahead and start.
Good morning, Mayor and City Council. On behalf of the IT department of the City of Watsonville, we are here to propose the idea of installing small cell sites in our community. My name's Omar Delgado.
Amato Rodriguez.
Hector Lopez. Eric Monroy. Jerry Rodriguez.
And I am Alex Zuniga, and this is our recommended action. First, before we go off recommended action, what are small cell sites? Small cell sites are cell towers that provide phone service placed around the city. For our recommended action, we will need to place these cell sites around Wattsville for better cell service for the city. Regardless of what we want them or not, companies like AT&T will force their way into the city and place these cell sites because they cannot be stopped. The government cannot do anything about it, and they will have to just let them take action. But if we want AT&T to place them sooner or now, they would have to abide by regulations and needs, and those regulations and needs would have to make these cell sites fit with their atmosphere. And by them fitting their atmosphere, they would have to camouflage these cell sites so they are not an eyesore to others in the city and where they live.
Now, about the background on small cell sites. As you know, Watsonville was founded in 1868, and during this time they did not have electricity, let alone cell service in mind when building the city. This meant that some parts of the city are left without cell service, for example, Freedom Boulevard or Franish Park. This means that they do not have the cell service to perform basic helps, especially in less economically fortunate areas where they cannot contact the authorities. Firefighters, for example, when they respond to a scene and someone gets hurt, they need to send telemetry data to hospitals in order to get the information of the patient to the hospitals as quickly as possible. With low cell service, this telemetry data can't be processed, and it could potentially put somebody's life at harm.
A little bit to touch on what Mateo said. Watsonville was built after the implementation of telephones. It was mainly built for analog, and digital communication was really not a big part of installing Watsonville. And as we go on in years, more necessity for digital communication has become a need, and it's really important to have those small cell sites. And there's also benefits that come with the installation of small cell sites. One of it is that everything done with the small cell site is paid by the cell company, and we earn a profit from the small cell sites that are implemented. And not only do we get a small benefit as the city, but the community gets a huge benefit in being able to go out in the city more with better service, which means it could rise up the economy because everybody's outside and they have better service.
Small cell sites go along with the city's strategic plan because for housing, quality of homes is increased when a small cell site is nearby because the house has better service. For infrastructure and environment, small cell sites will be made so that they're not an eyesore and they blend into the environment. For economic development, small businesses will be made easier to start from home, especially in areas that have poor service, and areas that already exist with a company nearby will have better service inside of their stores. For community engagement and well-being, there will be more opportunities made available for people that live in areas with poor service. For public safety, emergency services such as paramedics or firefighters will be able to send their information to hospitals a lot faster. And for efficient and high-performing government, if they have better service, they'll be able to do their job better.
The city of Watsonville will be asked by cellular companies like AT&T to collaborate with them, and this collaboration is beneficial to Watsonville because Watsonville will gain a certain amount of money per cell site. And also AT&T will cover the costs associated with installing these small cell sites.
AT&T did a public outreach campaign that they're going to improve cell services in the state of Cali. And they'll place small nodes on wooden utility poles located in public locations, and there have been studies showing that the electromagnetic frequencies emitted doesn't cause any harm.
Is there any questions that the city members have for us?
No, we don't have any questions. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
We are now going to have tree protection ordinance up. I call this meeting to order. On our agenda, we have tree protection ordinance. Go ahead and start.
Good morning, Mayor and City Council members. Today we will be presenting on updating the City of Watsonville's current tree protection ordinance. The updated tree protection ordinance will shift from focusing on public trees to trees on private property as well. With this, we wanted to ensure a fair ordinance with Watsonville residents in mind.
The reason for our recommended action is due to the fact that the new ordinance will now protect private property trees. This means residents will now need to file a tree removal permit once the permit is approved and the tree is removed from the resident's property. They will also be obligated to either plant a new tree on their property or pay a fee for the city to take responsibility for replanting a new tree. The City of Watsonville residents who are unable to pay the fee for the process of removal of a tree must attend a community-based event. This would consist of monthly weekend events in which individuals will have an opportunity to replant a tree for the community. Instead of having an individual replant a tree on their property, they should be given the option to replant a tree in a designated area in Watsonville.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I think your mic is off. Of course.
Trees contribute and supply many beneficial resources to our community. As temperatures increase due to climate change, the need for a larger urban tree canopy increases as well. An increase in trees will help our community become more resilient to these rising temperatures through the tree's ability to remove carbon dioxide and provide shade. However, trees take a long time to grow, so it is crucial to plant and protect the trees in our city now before it becomes too late. The City of Watsonville's current tree protection ordinance does not do enough to protect the amount of necessary trees in our community. The current tree protection ordinance mainly protects trees in public property and does little to protect the trees on private property, which is where a majority of the trees in the city are located. The updated tree protection ordinance works to protect trees throughout the City of Watsonville in both private and public property, as well as working to plant more trees throughout the community.
Through implementing the recommended action, this will benefit the City of Watsonville because all community members will be able to enjoy the benefits trees provide. Aside from this, a regulation that should be added is that anyone over 18 years of age who lives in the same household can attend as a replacement for the individual who's filing the permit application. The reason for this alternative is to provide flexibility if the person filing the permit is unable to attend. These external circumstances that might impede could possibly be their job duties, family emergencies, or multiple events happening at once. During the weekend events, community members would be provided with a brief informational session which would include a basic tutorial on how to plant a tree to prevent injuries.
Our tree ordinance falls into two categories in the strategic plan. The first one is infrastructure and environment, which will increase trees and provide shade and absorption of carbon dioxide. And then the second one would be community engagement and well-being, and it will provide more green spaces and create more community involvement. In the infrastructure and environment, it will prevent flooding, create wildlife habitats, distribute animal and plant species. Larger trees will provide carbon storage. It will build resilience to climate change and improve forest management. In community engagement and well-being, it will improve public health, enhance more active transportation, improve water quality as well as air quality, and reduce heat impact, and also increase community participation.
Moving to the financial impact of these events, the cost per event is estimated to be $6,366.80. This includes materials, staffs and volunteers, as well as complimentary food throughout the day. Some materials such as hand tools will be reused, so it will be a one-time payment. The annual cost is based off having 12 events per year, once a month. It is estimated to be $76,399.60. Now, these costs may be funded by the CAL FIRE grant, which was given to the City of Watsonville for the expansion of our urban forestry.
The proposed alternative action is after residents have been given approval of their permit, they will have to pay the city a fee in order to have the city plant and maintain and take responsibility of the tree. An advantage towards this action is that the city is going to plant a tree at a proper designated area in Watsonville and take responsibility for the tree. Another advantage is residents are not going through the trouble of planting a tree since the city is going to take care of it. Plus, it's important to notice that most residents work and will have enough time to plant a tree and maintain it. A disadvantage is residents paying an extra fee for a tree to be planted. The residents are going to go through the process of filling a application, which can be expensive, since they're going to pay to submit the application in order to get a permit. All these fees vary from $50 to $250. Then after it's been approved, they will have to pay an extra additional fee to plant a tree to replace the one they want to remove. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you. We do not have any questions. Up next, we have the update to the 2023 Airport Master Plan. I'm calling this meeting to order. Up next on our agenda, we have the update to the 2023 Airport Master Plan. Please go ahead and start.
Hello, Mayor and fellow council members. My name is Alexa Rodriguez. I'm Nati Carmona.
I'm Marian Solorio.
I'm Noah Victory.
My name is Eric Nolasco.
I'm Dakota Fremlin.
And my team asks for your approval of the overview update to the 2023 Airport Master Plan. Overview. We will be going over the background. We will be discussing the master plan, the value to the city, the strategic plan, the financial impact, and the alternative action. The master plan. A master plan is a document that the FAA requires as the best practice for sponsors and therefore demonstrates they are going to manage this airport appropriately into the future. Our mission is to ensure the safety of this airport while providing adequate services for our community. Our vision is to have infrastructures implemented from future master plans that will help the KWVI thrive for its community and services. Our goal is to forward with appropriate knowledge capable of implementing our vision while being as efficient as possible, while also being a part of the community.
Airport Operations Division.
The airport's sustainability has been secured for both the present and the future thanks to the funds obtained by the KWVI. We have accepted these grants, and under construction are the following: the 2019 runway update, the 2014 taxiway reconstruction, and the taxiway B, then the 2012 restaurant improvement of the airport. Under all those are the different types of aircrafts, which are business, personal, which you can use like just if you were using your car, commercial for agriculture, pictures, photographs, instructional, using it to learn how to fly an aircraft.
As an airport, we are also part of a wonderful, beautiful city like Watsonville. The airport master plan can stand by itself, but the city requires a master plan from the airport for the city's general plan. Setting forth our update to the master plan, the glue that connects the city of Watsonville and the municipal airport is the Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. We staff on behalf of Watsonville Municipal Airport and citizens of Watsonville recognize their beautiful land and its vulnerability, following all protocols with respect to the endangered species. The Watsonville Municipal Airport is also a vital business and community asset. We aim to invest in small businesses that have achieved success in Watsonville and in the community. Additionally, we have developed community programs supported by the airport, which encourages Watsonville citizens to participate in their community.
Our airport strategic plan consists of 5 different categories: fiscal health, infrastructure and environment, economic development, community engagement, and public safety. For fiscal health, we are self-sustaining, meaning that no funds are given from the general fund, and in simpler terms means that the tax money that you have to pay when you're buying groceries and stuff doesn't go to the airport, and they have to make their own money to support themselves. And investments so that small businesses environmental can keep their upkeep. Another one is infrastructure and environment, which consists of fire rescue, hotspots for the tar plant and the two-legged frog. We offer hangars, repair shops, an airfield, and a storage facility for fuel and lubricants. Economic development, local businesses near the airport's facility can be leased out to people so that they can expand their businesses. For example, I'm sure you've heard of the Beer Mule and also Ella's at the airport. And since the airport doesn't take a piece of the general fund, it means that it can also help the rest of the city with economic development. For community engagement, the airport offers aviation training for the youth. They offer tours of the airport for schools, programs, and etc. And they also offer volunteering opportunities as well as open houses. The airport is important infrastructure to public safety because they offer aerial medical services and a retreat in case of a natural disaster and emergency army base.
Financial impact. For financial purpose, the information shown in the graph may be applied to estimate future construction cost, although the future economy cannot be exactly projected. So, as you can see in the graph, in 2000 to 2005 is 1 to 1.4, but in 2016 to 2020 is 2.4 to 2.9. So the question is, what are these increase based on? So these escalation are based on extrapolate average annual increase at 5% compound interest, but the project costs are separate as to FFA share and local share. The FFA portion is based on 90% funding. It is possible that certain items in the plan, such as the instrument loading system, may be eligible for 100% funding through the FFA facilities and an equipment program.
Alternative actions. There has been an idea presented that instead of continuing on and keeping the airport, to just forego it and build housing for the city of Watsonville. there are inhibitors that would cause problems for this idea, which is California's environmental restrictions, because there are protected animals that live on the airport, like the tar plant, the two red-legged frog, and long-toed salamander. If we were to get rid of the airport and create new housing, the Watsonville Airport would be required to pay the FAA all the money that it has invested in the airport since 1948, which is estimated to be about $20 million. The airport has also been working to protect these animals and plants that live on the airport. The tar plant has almost 1 million plants that reside on the airport.
KWVI is forward thinking. KWVI is attracting business. KWVI is a lifeline. The airport is an important piece of infrastructure for our community. With that being said, here are some references so that you can go and dive deeper into things that we said. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you guys very much. We will have local climate-induced hazards up next. I call this meeting to order. Finally, on our agenda, we have local climate-induced hazards. Please start.
Good morning, City Mayor and City Council members. My name is Destiny Montes.
My name is Rihanna Monroy.
My name is Cindy Hernandez.
My name is Aiden Rodriguez.
My name is Wendy Melgosa.
My name is Isai Garcia.
Today we'll be talking about preparation for potential local climate-induced hazards.
As most of us can recently recall, during the flood of Pajaro, we had piles of trash ruining the beautification of our city. We also had people not knowing what to do, we also had people panicking and not knowing what to do, which is where our resilience hubs would come into plan, providing people with information on how to be safe not only during floods, but also other local hazards, such as earthquakes, landslides, fires, extreme heat, and more.
As we know, many members of our community, when we experience emergencies, they don't know what to do or where to go to find information. Resilience Hub Centers will provide as an informational facility to bring in members of our community, providing things like bike rides, electrical vehicle charging stations, canned food, and water. Most of all, it would create a socially and connected community. This is because as a lot of our members of our community don't know what to do before, after, or during climate-induced hazards, this place will provide the information needed so that they know what they need in certain occasions. It will prepare them mentally, and this would make a change because it would bring them a sense of belonging and security. Why? Because they'll be able to go to neighbors, family, and friends to make sure that they have everything they need,
or that their friends and family have everything they need to prepare for anything that may happen.
Our plan that our group decided does come with the financial plan, which will soon be discussed. But we would like to keep the system the same that we have now by providing kits for families, but with the help of organizations around our community. For example, we have Listos California. It's a mix of their own ideas with ours. And why, you may ask, the Resilience Hub will help acknowledge each other and help each other by providing resources and help from organizations. It's the first steps before we build up to a Resilience Hub.
The resilience hubs will be built in high populated areas, or we could retrospect existing buildings like the library. Once figured, we'll review the production costs. We'll apply for grants to cover or minimize the financial impacts. And then we'll construct. While constructing, we'll continue community outreach and inform the Watsonville community about the resilience hubs that are being built. We'll connect with organizations for support like Listo California. They offer education to prepare for natural disasters, which is needed to bring support to our community. Once built, we'll hire staff and it will open more job opportunities for the Watsonville community.
Obviously, these resilience hubs would leave a financial impact that would be due to construction and staffing costs. But with the help of grants, programs, and organizations, it can help minimize the cost and impact on the city. Although we don't have an official cost, with again the help of these grants and programs and organizations that we had previously posted, like Listos California, Regeneración, and CAAP, they would help build the resilience hubs, and it would leave little financial impact on the city, and we can still support the citizens in our community.
So, an alternative action that could be proposed would be simply increasing the amount of community outreaches that we have. However, as we have seen in the past, these outreaches aren't as effective in reaching people because people either aren't aware of the fact that they are occurring or they just don't think it's necessary. So because of that, resilience hubs would be a lot more effective because it's a permanent solution and resource, not just a one-day table event where you tell people how to prepare. So in this way, people can come in at any time before, during, or after the disasters are occurring, and they can get those connections and those resources that they need in order to get back on their feet or prepare themselves for what is to come. So that is why we came up with this solution. So throughout the process, as I stated, we tried to come up with different solutions, and we believe that resilience hubs would be the most liable one. Our main goal is to someday be able to provide resilience hubs, maybe throughout the main parts of the city, to prepare ourselves for bigger disasters that are on their way. Compared to our current plan, we really do believe that resilience hubs would be a better option to reaching everyone. And we hope that these resilience hubs could create a better, safe, and protected environment for Watsonville's buildings, infrastructure, and most of all, their citizens. That is all. Any questions?
No questions, and thank you guys.
That was our last presentation of today. We changed the format a little bit because of time constraints, but I do want to acknowledge that we have two council members in the room. We have our Vice Mayor, Vanessa Quiroz Carter, here, and Council Member Crystal Salcido in the audience as well. Do you all want to acknowledge the...
I just wanted to say thank you very much. It was a pleasure seeing your presentations. I've heard a lot about the work that you've been doing over the summer. Your presentations were well thought out. I hope you continue to ask questions about what's going on with your local government. All of you can be where we are currently sitting. All of you are the potential and the future to be leaders in city government. And I hope that you take advantage of these programs and continue to think about service and work in the city, because all of you are the future for Watsonville, and great job and great work.
Good afternoon, everyone. I visited Summer in the City a couple weeks ago, and I'm so impressed with all the work that you did. It's like, this is very professional. You all did such an amazing job. You have amazing ideas, and I really hope that we can implement some of them here in the city, because I'm like, wow, that is a really innovative solution. So I want to thank you all for your hard work. And as Councilmember Salcido said, please continue to be civically engaged, because that's what we want to see. We want people to get involved and make Watsonville the place that they want to be. Thank you.
I'm Erwin Ortiz. I'm the city clerk. I kind of helped out with the mock council meeting. These guys are amazing. You see the presentations for yourselves. This is the first mock meeting of today at 11 o'clock. We're going to have another one at 4:30 p.m. today. We'll get a little bit deeper into the conversations with the presentations. But thank you all for being here, for all of the mentors that came to support the youth and who mentored them throughout the process. Thank you so much. At this point, Mayor, why don't you bang the gavel and end this meeting? You all.